Yeah. There's a lot of things in the way of you and Japanese fluency. I guess the Christmas tree is Japanese fluency right now. You have to learn to read a bunch of characters across 3 different scripts. You have to learn to speak and pronounce things well enough that people understand you and understand things when people talk to you as machine gun speed. You have to learn grammar. You have to learn vocab. いろんな方言も勉強した方がいいかもしれんし。やろう? And perhaps most importantly, you have to learn how to express yourself in a way that's just fundamentally different from English. Kind of feels impossible, right? Wrong. All these things will take time, but you'll get to them if you don't give up. Whether it'll be simple or a headache or whatever is kind of up to your study plan though. And you might feel like you need to spend more time than you can commit realistically in order to reach your goals. Otherwise, it's hopeless. So maybe you do that 3-hour-a-day study plan and it ruins you. But maybe all you have is an hour a day. Do that. I did that. I started off with a bunch of bad pre-generated Anki decks and a really yikes grammar book. And I came out all right, at least I think. And yeah, it's possible. To learn Japanese like that, but therein lies the biggest mistake. You're pushing yourself too hard and you're gonna get burned out. Japanese is a long journey. And, you know, I'm 7.5 years in, and while I feel pretty happy with my progress, I'm still not exactly where I want to be. And getting there is probably going to take a few years, if I ever get there at all. But no matter how long the journey is, you can't reach your goal if you quit. So don't make it tougher than it has to be. Okay, so what does tougher than it has to be mean? Well, I'll tell you my experience. Like I said, I started off with like Anki pre-generated decks, and they were made from newspapers. And, you know, I want you to just go talk to your friends and listen to if anyone ever talks to you in newspaper headlines. Probably no one will. I'm imagining no one will. I don't know your friends. Right? It's not natural to speak in a newspaper headline or anything you would read in like a newspaper paragraph. So if you learn Japanese like this, it's the same thing, maybe even worse with Japanese, where you're just, those aren't the words that you say in a normal natural conversation. So because no one speaks like that, in my experience, I had a giant wall separating me from my studies and reality of what people really say. So it was kind of stressful going back and forth because I could understand my studies language, but when I actually tried to speak Japanese with people, I was like, oh God, what is going on? So, I mean, yes, I got good at reading. That was really fun, you know? And I played a lot of video games, which also kind of have a lot of unnatural language. But they're also still good for studying as long as you have a good core resource that teaches you natural language, which is kind of a problem because a lot of people don't have that. So overall, right, I feel like I'm studying a lot, but not getting a lot of returns on my studies. So how do you fix that problem? Well, as far as time commitment goes, do what you can. If you can only spend 15 minutes a day studying, do 15 minutes a day. If you can spend an hour, do an hour. If you can spend 2, yeah, maybe that's cool. I find that maybe just on course studies, people kind of it's a little too much sometimes. Did you miss yesterday? Oh well. Don't double your studies today because you missed the day before. That's going to cause a really big buildup and you're going to burn out really fast. タイ、毎日たった15分で日本語上手くなれんよ. Yeah, maybe not. The more time you can put in, the better. Keep in mind, I'm talking about core study time with all these estimates, so it's different from native materials. Core study time is your grammar book, Anki, flashcards, whatever. Native materials is you're reading a book, playing a game, maybe watching a YouTube video or a video game stream or something like that. And that can generally be more active or more passive, depending on your approach to it. And I think both passive and active for native material approach is very good. That said, if you do spend 15 minutes and that's all you can commit to a core resource a day and it's inefficient and it's just giving you a lot of unnatural Japanese, it's going to feel probably pretty bad because you're going to experience what I experienced and you're going to have that wall in between reality and studies. So here's another fix. So use a resource that doesn't create a wall between your studies and reality. For this, I honestly can't recommend Native Shark more. So before I tell you about it, I do want to let you know I am an affiliate and I actually help build a good part of the system, but I use it every day in my studies and it's constantly pushing my Japanese to be better. So why is it good? Well, it teaches you things that people actually say. So there's no difference between your studies and reality, which is huge. Makes it a lot less frustrating. Also, equally as important, and something that I sadly missed for the first few years of my studies, is the audio is really good. We have instructed all of the native speakers to say it like they would actually say it. Not say it like they're recording for a Japanese learning book, which is why you get all this bad, unnatural audio and why it all sounds so different when you actually talk to a real person versus you listen to it on a textbook CD or something. Here's an example.
根は優しい人なんだろうな。
根は優しい人なんだろうな。
If you couldn't hear that, Native Shark will help you. It really helps getting lots of exposure to this really natural language because that's what you hear. You're learning Japanese so you can speak Japanese, right? So that will help. Of course, it will take time for your ears to get used to. That's part of the learning process. That's okay. Don't take my word for it. I'll link to the Native Shark community in the description. And there's also my community down there too. You can ask about Native Shark and see people's real experiences with it. Either way, you're going to need like 2,000 hours of study time to be proficient in Japanese. Of course, that's varying skill levels and it's hard to say what that really means. But it is a good baseline, is about that many hours will result in a good amount of ability. So yeah, probably depending on your resource, it'll probably be easier or harder to reach that, whatever the same point might be. So I'd say get rid of the walls, use Native Shark. And I guess most importantly is because you're not climbing over walls, it's a lot less stressful. And remember, our biggest mistake is getting stressed and burning out. So do things that aren't going to stress you out. Do amounts of time that's not going to stress you out. Do what you can as often as you can. You're human. It's okay. Anyway, link down below in the description. You get an extended free trial if you sign up. And if you sign up using my link, if you want to buy an annual sub, then you get $60 off of that for the first 50 people who sign up. But everyone gets the extended free trial. And if you want to ask me any questions about it, come to my Discord. It's a really cool community we have right now. And yeah, love to have you there. And thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. If you're wondering, hey, Ty, what's with the Christmas tree? I don't know, I just haven't put it away yet. It's February.